what we want to focus on in this actual session is to essentially support the communication between the back and the hips. I keep it really pure and simple to focus on that collaboration in this session. I'll be working on a series of practices that support this and influence, helping you with the attention there. So what I'd like us to have for props is a bolster or a big cushion in the front, at the foot of your mat. You're going to have a blanket or towel for under your head and a couple blocks. It's not essential that you have blocks. If you have pillows, like small pillows or towels, you can use that in place of the blocks, but it would be helpful to have them if you do. And then most important today is going to be a belt. So I want you to have an 8 to 10 foot belt, and you're going to place that so that when you lie back, it's right behind your heart. So recline back, and let's begin. So we're going to start with our feet on the bolster and our blocks or towels besides the hips. And I want you to let your knees move out and actually slide those blocks or towels so they're very close to the attachment of the pelvis, the hips, and support the thighs. So push the blocks in so that when you establish the direction of the knees externally rotating the hips open, you can feel that engagement and that articulation of moving into your hips, but interestingly enough, also into your lower back. So feel where your feet touch. Feel where your arms reach wide, so they're in the shape of a T. And the direction of your ribs spatially open. Relax the back of your hands, feeling the fingers curling in, and close your eyes. And let's begin with an alignment of breath through both sides. Feel the belly expand and contract. Organize the movement of the breath so that it's an actual focus to turn your focus inwards and also along the sensation of your structure. Notice where your feet touch. Slide the blocks a little bit farther out, turning maybe them a little higher or stuffing the towels a little higher under your thighs so that blocks are farther distant from your hip attachment. So when you let your leg lean into the support, it begins to open up the adductors, the groins, which is a large part of how we hold tension in our hips, and eventually into our back frame. So we're trying to stretch out through the groins. And this is almost a passive stretch for some people, and it might be for you have a little grittiness to it, a little bit of jitteriness to it. So make sure that you have the props under your thighs to support balancing the energy on both sides. Just kind of monitor that. I like to feel the blocks a little farther out, feel them kind of right in the center of the lateral rotator of your legs. Feel them if they're a little farther out, and that might begin to stretch closer up into the pelvic floor. And so that's what I want you to feel is the pelvic floor sensation, the stretch to the groins. Okay, now, as you keep that position, you're going to reach around to your belt. You're going to take the belt, and I would move it so that your belt is latched together and it's connected so you have a wide loop. Now, all belts are a little different with the attachment piece. So you're going to attach it how you do, so you have a wide loop. And then we're going to move our knees pointing up, and then lift up the right foot and bring the knee to the chest, and then move your belt under the ball of the foot. And I want you to push that foot up and then tighten it down, tighten the belt down. Keep the belt so it's as high on the ribs that you can feel that you're connected to your leg. So you wouldn't want to put the belt around your right collarbone zone, because that would be just awkward. So you have it sensibly behind the heart-ish, and you'll figure out where that should be, where it slides, where it rides high in your back. Try to let the belt ride pretty high, and then as you tighten it down so the leg is straight up, give some time here just to let the right leg be vertical 90 degrees up, and keep the left leg involved either by relaxing it, arms relax out, or bending, putting the foot down. You're going to feel the difference if your leg is heavy on the left side, if the leg is engaged. How does that feel in your lower back? So where is the spine centering for your hips? Feel where the back makes an imprint into the floor. Feel the belly expand and contract. Feel that delicate balance of breathing slow. Now, the next few moments, we're going to take this right leg across the midline. So lower the left leg down, cross the right leg over to the left, and make sure the belt is pretty taut. So if it loosens up too much or your leg swings over, you might get your hand to pull the belt so it's a little bit tighter. But here is where we start to monitor some fundamental alignment patterns. So my leg is crossed over. I have my right shoulder on the floor. Try to keep both shoulders down. And then with that simplicity, feel when the right knee bends. Feel when the right leg is extending, straightening. And then when you feel it in its bending position, how does that feel in the right lower quadrant of your back? And let that sensation become a little fuller for a few moments. Of course, if it's uncomfortable, awkward, you can always pass on the pose and bring the legs straight up again and re-engage your breath cycle, calming down. Come back to crossover. But for right now, we have it crossed over just to feel the rotations. Leg goes up and out. Left knee bends. We're back to that half cobbler's pose. I've got my blocker to the left outer thigh to hold the balance for the pelvic floor. Now here we go with the groin stretch. So the right leg is out, it's out, it's out, it's out. And when we feel that reach out with the leg, feel if you can energetically center the back of the pelvis, push into the foot, align the spine back. Now, as you move the right leg straight up and center, bring both feet up into the belt. It's going to feel a little short with both feet, the measurement, and it might bring some energy into your back. So bend the knees as needed. Feel where the knees bend. Feel if the legs want to do a little bit of swishing side to side, massaging through the back channels. Explore. That's important to explore a bit. Once you start getting these outlines of the behavior we're trying to monitor through the structure, you have wiggle room. Okay, left leg up, right leg down, of course. We're going to go right across, but first things first. You feel the second side. You align the awareness through the back muscles, pushing up into the leg muscles. And then you cross the left leg over. So feel the crossover. Feel the hip, the behavior in the hip, the left hip. It's nice to use a belt like this so it's in some sense passive. It feels pretty interactive in your hip, but check it out. It's a belt around your body that's creating traction. So it's pretty nice for you to just have a belt, and if you get a long enough belt, you can create traction. Cross your low back into your hip, through the leg. Now, as the leg goes up, we move it carefully center, and then slide the right foot up onto the bolster. Position of block so it's near the outer thigh, and then as the right knee moves out, you can put a block under that leg and start to move the left leg out. Yeah, feel the direction in the lower back and the spine. Feel the awareness through the back muscles centered on the ground. Feel the knee pointing out. If it's a little bit intense for your muscles to respond and let go, you might lighten up the intensity by moving the leg a little farther upright. You might push it out and hug the right knee in with your hand. That might feel easier for your joints. It's like a little exploration. How could I balance this so my nervous system can respond in a appreciable way for you to let go? So surrendering. And the belt gives you some support, right? So it helps become an anchor for the directions. So bring the leg back up. This time I want you to simply unbuckle the belt. If it's a quick release, it'll be easy peasy for you. I want you to have that belt still below your left foot body. Guide the right knee in, and then scoop up, and then feel if you can get your right foot around the base of the left quadricep above the knee, and then slide the belt so that you have it under your left foot still. But now your right knee is promoted to be outwards. Kind of like the reclining number 4 pose or pigeon pose. But that would be if the knee was bending, the top leg. So I want you to feel what it's like when you fold your hands here. And where that right knee is motioned open. So I have my right elbow on that right inner leg, reminding it just to stay out. That's it. Doesn't have to be perfect and pushed all the way forward, but it's externally rotating. It's also an inversion, so we're inverting the leg. Okay, switch sides, right foot up and left foot to the top of the above the right knee, and use that left elbow touching the left inner leg, or just with the very top spot where it touches to attach to the knee. And feel if you can pull with your hands so the bottom of the foot selectively it stretches. The foot, actually the connective tissue in the foot. And now as you start to bend through the right knee, just keep it easy to get that belt off. Just carefully, casually descend your belt. And then as you lower down your right foot and then uncross the left, feel your feet on the bolster. Be sure it's close enough to you so you can feel like your feet push down into it. And then windshield wiper the knee side to side. Just a little longer. Feel where you have freedom. There's no belt restrictions. Maybe the restrictions were useful to bring some alignment patterns to kind of enrich the subtleties of our back and our legs. So now as the knees shift side to side, get a feel here when you are reclining, working into your back. So we're going to do some flexion of our hips in bridge pose. So I'd like you to try the bridge pose with the bolster and then without. So we'll put our feet to push down and have the knees that they feel like they are separating, and then add a block between the knees so the block is narrow. Okay? Have the short end of the block so you can easily grab it. So push into the block. Grab the block with the thigh muscles and then elevate your hips up into a pelvic tilt. Feel the spine design length. Now the glutes are grabby right now. Their circulation is toughening up. So you can feel that pressure around the glute muscles. So let's just lower the spine down slow. And then push down to your feet. Round your back, scoop up like you are lifting up at the belly and trying to get the belly to have an actual amount of inversion, right? So reversing gravity's downward pull on the core organs, the organs. Lower the spine. Gradually let the lower back elongate. Kind of visualize that sometimes a pose goes past the actual physical sensation, like you're beyond that. So when you push and hold into the block and you push down and you lift your hips, notice what you like about the sensation when you lift up. And then when you lower down, because you've got to come down at some point, notice what still has some spaciousness inside the body. Feel the muscles around the pelvis center. Now feel that they also center just as much when you lift up your hips, but you're working with pelvic tone. And then when you lower the spine, you still have to use some pelvic floor tone. Okay, so we'll bring our knees into the chest and we'll move the block aside. And I want us to actually come up, so I want you to bend through the knees. Actually, let's get a little bit of a hip rotation for a second here. Scoot your bolster cushion to the right side of your mat. Cross the left leg over to the bolster. And I want you to try to have that bolster height so that you feel like you have a quality exchange of sensation from your hip to your armpit, and all the way across. So you're crossing through the center, through the midline. Feel your head roll to the left. If you want to use your right hand to encourage that crossover, go for it.
Now as you start to relax your hold onto that leg, reach for your bolster. And you might just push it down by your foot to kick it to the other side, or you might actually hold it with your hands and move it to the other side. But in the betweenness here, we're going to scoop the knees into the chest and feel the spine lengthen. Okay, now moving the bolster to left. However, you're going to control that exchange to the second side. Right leg is crossing over to the bolster. The left leg's got to be random here. It's bendy, it's straighty. It could be any type that you want to have the leg, but when you cross the right leg over, we want that sensation to go all the way to the right armpit. Open the chest. Feel the shoulder moving back and down. Yeah, recognize what feels right. What of these shapes feels right for you? Doesn't have to be all of them, but some of them probably feel spot on for your body. So let your muscles start to hold some memory of those. Breathing in slow. Exhaling. Okay, so now I relax my grip with the left hand, and as I start to roll to the side, I'm going to just let the bolster be over there and the knees curl over to the side. I'm going to roll over to whichever side you're at. I'm on left hip, so I'm going to push myself up. I'm going to actually bring my blanket in, center-ish on your mat, and then come around to all fours so that the knees are on the blanket, the bolster is in the front, and as we have our hands right under the shoulders, feel where your fingers widen out. And consider this branch of the spine. So when we round back the vine of the vertebrae, and then when we arch the spine, we're trying to work on that alternating reach through the waist. So feel the rounding. Feel the arching. Feel the fingers wide. Arching. Okay, now when the spine moves back and in, actually the tail draws back and under. Feel if you can move your hips back and your forehead to the bolster. So I want you to try to be here for a few moments where your forehead touches to the bolster and your hips are back. So it's almost a preparation for down dog. With your hips stretched back, your forehead down. Slide your hands under the shoulders, come up to table again, and really feel that vigorousness of rounding your back, chin to chest. Really pull in and up in the belly. Arch in the spine. Crawl forward and lower down comfortably on top of your bolster. And reach your hands forward. Now, if putting your forehead down in the hands is a little tricky, you could add a towel on top of your hands or one of your blocks. But feel what's right for you so your whole back line can just spread the shoulder blades open and center. Breathe and feel the breath in your back spaces. Free up that connection of your breath connecting into your back. Noticing that breath really follows your attention Or maybe it's your attention follows your breath for practice. Now, try to let the ribs be tamped down versus arching up, so they're forward and down. Hands slide in besides the bolster. Okay, so feel the fingers really widen, feel the elbows squeeze in towards the sides. Toes under, and then as the hands push down, you're going to try to direct your tailbone towards your feet. Breathe in, breathe out. Push the tailbone back. Land on the forehead. Hands slide to the edge of the bolster, toes under, lift up the knees and come back for a standing forward dangling pose. The feet are concentrated in a little wider than hips distance. The knees are bendy and the shoulders, I want you to try to let them center down out of the sides of the spine. So hold your elbows and let your neck elongate. With the weight of your head, stretch your spine. We're going to end the session in the next minute here, so I want you to really feel the attentiveness to your legs, entering the awareness up into your seat, and then down through the back of the pelvis, all the way through the neck. Let your arms either scatter down or hold the elbows, you choose, and take the feet a little farther apart. Keep in mind the wider the stance before you finish would be the optimal. So you might scoot your toe heel wider on your mat. And then feeling how that brings a really interesting stability into the legs and the back of the pelvis, and also into the groins, which is an important part of helping us balance well and find balance in our hips and our backs. Just give it a try. Find what's comfortable for you. It might not be that wide of a stance that's best for you. Take one final pass of the head dropping down. Ribs expand. Now, as you push into your feet and you place your hands above the knees, I want you to find a little bit of an arch in the back when you have your hands above the knees or maybe cupped around the knees. You have an arch in the spine. And then we'll just gently track through the vine of the vertebrae and come up, arms open. Lift. Interlace your fingers, push your hands up, turn the hands inside out. And then complete. Okay. So I hope that was helpful. Hello. Instruction.